Wow, I've my book's been at the Department of Defense for 3 weeks now, 4 weeks, and I'm weekly checking in with the guy that's actually reviewing it. He actually answers the phone.
That means they actually care.
Well,
no, I know, but that means they're actually doing
so he's read the book completely now.
Okay.
He said there's a few things they're going to give me some alternate language on. He sent it off to 2 other agencies for their review. I think it's probably the National Security Agency and the Department of the Navy, I think. And he goes, and then we'll give you some pen and ink changes to make, and you should be fine. He goes, but I'm working on another book right now, and so it's kind of taking priority. I go, you're working on another book? I go, whose book are you working on? He goes, I really can't say. And I go, so is it somebody that has like a really obnoxious white mustache that's in the news? He goes, I really can't say. Look, holy shit, you're working on John Bolton's book because they're negotiating back and forth with the lawyers. Because see, it's kind of a, and I told him, I go, well look, I don't want to tell any secrets. My whole point in sending this thing was to get that stuff out there. And I go, so any recommendations you have, even if they're not mandatory, I'm going to go ahead and do. He goes, hey, I really appreciate it.
Did you ever hear the story of the hunt for Red October? So it comes out, and these guys freak out. They're like, how did this blah, blah, blah. All they do is take manuals from the fucking library.
When that came out, I was an active duty intelligence officer. I had to sign a document saying that I would neither confirm nor deny the accuracy or inaccuracy in any of Clancy's books.
Yeah.
It's a national security document. And here's why. Because there were inaccuracies. Okay. But some of them said that indicated we had capabilities that we didn't even have.
Yeah.
We thought, well, we certainly don't want the bad guys to know we can't. We don't have this super duper thing that we don't even have.
Good morning, Gateway Rotary. How are we this happy Wednesday, February 19th? All right, that's good. We have a lot of people that are happy. All right, fantastic. Well, let's get started right away. We can go with the Pledge of Allegiance. Graham, you're right here in the front. Would you be willing to lead us in the pledge?
Please join me in the pledge to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and Jerry Farmer, you're great at this one. How about the 4-way test?
Really? 2 weeks in a row, I'm so proud. Rotarians, please join me in reciting the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
Is it the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
D,
Will it be
what? And fifth.
Is it fun?
Mike Leonard? Hey, Mike? Mike?
Not next week.
All right, I'm pointed right now. Okay, let's start off. I don't have many visiting Rotarians signed in. Do we have any visiting Rotarians here? All right. Christine Foray, you have a guest.
Christine's not here.
Christine's not here.
But her guest is.
Okay. All right, Jenny Hatfield. Well, welcome. Let's hear it for Jenny.
Way to totally guess.
No, I got the email too. Any other guests that are here? All right, so one of the items that we're doing is on our big Rotary. It's a great way for us to introduce different businesses and different ideas. I'm going to recognize an industry, but I have a hand that's gone up, so go ahead. Yes.
I want to thank Patrick Davidson. I had some legal work done, and had to get some stuff kind of sorted out, and he helped me a lot with it. So I just want to kind of recognize that.
All right, Patrick Davidson. That's a great segue, Troy, because Troy didn't know this. The industry that I wanted to recognize is the legal profession. So all those who are lawyers, that are judges, that are in the legal industry, not law enforcement per se, but on the legal side. Please stand up, raise your hand, or just give a shout out of where you work, please. So back row, go ahead. Jonathan?
I'm an attorney
right, Jonathan.
And Skip Hauser, Pope Hauser and Barn.
Okay, very good. Patrick, we heard about you, but let's hear it again.
I'm Patrick Davis, and I'm with Davidson Law. I also do mortgage stuff.
Awesome, Patrick.
And window pane.
Our VP.
Prosecutor,
Prosecutor, City of Centralia. I think I got a driving ticket violation.
You did it.
I did it? Okay. Well, I'm going to try to go up against Amanda. So again, this is a great way for us to recognize who's who, where people are, and kind of like what Troy was saying, to give recognition of what Patrick did for him. It's good for us to know folks, especially in the legal profession, where they can't really sit there and raise their hand and advertise. This is a good way for us to know Rotarians that honor the 408 tests that are also lawyers, which seems contradictory, but somehow seems to fit. Okay. Before I get myself in too much trouble, I guess I'll move on. We're going to have a special discussion today, but our program isn't here yet.
But he's coming. He's like minutes away.
Minutes away, so good. We will move with our semi-program, and then we'll have our main program after that. So today we're going to have a special discussion on the Rotary, on the Gateway Rotary Foundation and what it is. And we're going to have three different quick presentations. It's going to start off with Tom, who's going to really give you an in-depth discussion in 3 minutes on what the Gateway Rotary Foundation is. Doug is going to connect it with what the service committee is doing. And then we've got a nice presentation that we want to honor a couple of our Gateway Rotarians that are giving. So let's just start off right away. Let's hear it for our past district governor. Let's hear it for Tom Carroll.
Good morning. So Len said I had 3 minutes to explain 4 corporations.
All right, we'll give you a 4.
So I realize that these are legal issues, and we have a lot of lawyers with us today, and I know that most lawyers, they say they're good at words, but really pictures are better. So in front of you, I've got a little, I guess what you call a desk aid, right, to explain this. And I'm going to go through this really quickly. So just look at this white piece of paper in front of you. Okay, so today's topic is to try to explain the Rotary Foundations, both internationally and what we have locally, and here's how we're going to do it really quickly. On the left side of the piece of paper, you see international stuff. So you got Rotary International at the top, and that's the people that we pay dues to, right? And that's a 501c4 nonprofit corporation, okay? And they do all the admin stuff for Rotary globally. And then down below that, you'll see the Rotary Foundation. You notice it's got a different logo, and that's a 501c3 corporation. So that if you give money to the Rotary Foundation, then you can declare that on your income tax as a donation to a charity. Okay, and they're the ones that are doing the 6 areas of focus. We're fighting polio, doing wonderful things globally. Looking to the right side of the piece of paper at the top, you see local, and that's Gateway Rotary Club. That's its own corporation, right? That is our club. Len is the president of that club. It has its own board of directors.
Good job, Len.
We paid, you're taking my time. Local leadership, they do service projects, we host fundraising events, and we raise money. But in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a new organization you're probably not familiar with, and that's the Gateway Rotary Foundation. Different corporation, it is a charity, it only exists as a mechanism so that this organization can give receipts to other organizations. So some individuals or corporations will want to give to a charity. So we have that mechanism in place. And it's a place for us to also hold money, basically in trust, for whatever this organization, Gateway Rotary, wants to do. We're talking in the future, maybe, of having that organization be responsible for managing a scholarship program for students in our geography. So that's something that the Lacey Rotary Foundation does. It's something we're thinking about doing sometime in the future. Turn the page. You'll see we actually have a board of directors on the back side of that first page, and they were selected primarily for their attractiveness. Why are you laughing? Actually, they were selected primarily because they either have a legal background or a finance background, or have experience with
nonprofits. And also, by our Constitution, the president of the Gateway Rotary Club also has to serve on that board. So that's that group of people. Their whole mission is to do with that money, whatever Gateway Rotary tells them to do. Right? Okay, simple. Last page. This is the first time we're actually sharing the balance sheet of that corporation with this group of people. And you'll see that we've got just a little over $20,000 in this bank account. And the sources from that, well, there's a little less than $1,000 that came in from a variety of sources. So there's $18,500 that's sitting there basically in trust for our major legacy project that we've been saving money for. And we can also take gifts from people in this room. And that's where you'll see major projects. There's $1,500 sitting there. If you want to give money to our foundation, you can do that, and you can actually name how you would like that to be spent. So that's it. Any questions? Great.
Thank you. Now we're going to move right into what it's doing and the connection to our major project on the service club level. Let's hear it for our service committee chair. Let's hear it for Doug Mott.
Good morning, everyone. So as you are all familiar, the Gateway Rotary Club has made a $50,000 pledge for the Lacey Food Bank. Now, this $50,000 pledge and our commitment to the food bank is to pay it out over within the next 5 years. So we have to contribute $50,000 to the Lacey Food Bank within 5 years. Now, the Lacey Food Bank doesn't care how that money comes to them, right? As long as within 5 years, $50,000 from this club is gifted to the food bank for the project itself. Now, we can donate and create funds for the food bank from the club kind of along 3 different ways. One, through our major fundraiser, so the BBB. We take proceeds from the BBB and send them to the food bank over the next 5 years. The other way we can do this is we can hold special fundraising activities. Perhaps the Social and Service Committee decide that we're going to do a one-time auction for the food bank itself. And we can raise funds specifically for the food bank, all to go to offset the expense of $50,000 or our $50,000 contribution. Or individuals within the club, or even from outside of the club, can make an individual contribution to offset our funds. And I forgot the 4th way we can do this is to apply for and receive district grants. So we can either raise the money, get money from the district foundation, or individual members can contribute, all of which go to our pledge of $50,000. Now, one of the ways in which an individual can do this is by making a contribution to the Gateway Rotary Foundation and earmarking and requesting that those funds go directly to the Lacey Food Bank project. Now, this is kind of cool because it's a win-win-win for those that are contributing that way. One, you get the tax benefit of donating to a 501c3 foundation. 2, you can dedicate the funds to a project that you support. And 3, it offsets the amount that the club has to raise to achieve its goal of $50,000 within 5 years. So win-win-win. Club wins, the individual wins, and the food bank win in this particular case. So the combination of the club working with the foundation creates some great opportunities for club members as well as individuals outside of the club that are interested in making a taxable, tax-free donation to a charity. And that was my part.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Dan and Mary, if you could start coming this way, I'd appreciate it. So what I did want to do to finalize this presentation is give some recognition. Gateway Rotary Foundation received a very generous donation, a multi-year pledge from both Dan and Mary Wees. And I wanted to recognize them for that pledge, thank them for that pledge, and then really most importantly give them the mic to ask them why they're giving to the Gateway Rotary Foundation. So first of all, let's hear it for Dan and Mary. They do a great job.
I'm gonna let Dan talk.
Okay. Dan, thank you.
Okay. It takes a major effort for a club to come up with a major project. It takes collaboration, gotta get everybody's minds together. It takes commitment, putting yourself on the line. It takes a lot of courage to do this. And so, from my perspective, I recognize the club, and my gift, Mary's gift, is in recognition of this club taking that big step forward, making that commitment for community service. So thank you, Gateway Rotary.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Dan and I really do support foundations. We were very active with the Lacey Rotary Foundation, and we're really happy to be involved with the Gateway Foundation. My reason for supporting this project is very personal. Growing up, my father was injured a lot of times and was out of work, so we were on welfare a lot, and community organizations helping our family out. I am a believer no one in this country should ever go hungry. So I support this project. I want to make it a reality.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Mary. And again, just to tie it up, this is really something we want to make sure we bring it to everybody's light, so that everybody understands what the Gateway Foundation is, some of the differences, and again, to give great recognition. One more time, let's hear it for Dan and Mary. Yeah. Great to hear about them. Okay, so now we're going to move into our main program, and without any further ado, let's hear it for our Vice President, Amanda Bay.
A little different this morning. The story is going to be the introduction. So please welcome Phillip Kerrigan.
Hey, Phillip. Oh, mine is taller. Here. I'll cut that. I'll cue you. Okay. Great. Thank you, sir. First of all, thank you everybody for allowing me to come out and speak on behalf of the organization that I work for, Raise for Rowyn. I actually noticed a bunch of faces that are very familiar to me, and you probably know me from my former life with the combined fund drive, a few of you, but I recently moved to this organization, Raise for Rowyn. Some of you may have heard of this story. It is probably an organization that the founder wishes she didn't have to start. It's basically started in 2014. Hey, look at that, that worked. Okay, so here's our story. In 2014, Brynn Johnson lost her daughter, Rowyn, in an accident at their home. It was a standard sort of day. They were carpooling for school, and she had put her oldest son in the car with her friend driving, and as they were backing out of the driveway, Rowyn dipped out of the front porch to say goodbye to her brother. They did not see her, and they ran over her, and she died instantly. It was on the news. It was a high profile tragedy, and the whole town of Tenino basically ached because of this accident. In their grief, they were trying to figure out all sorts of things that you wish you never had to figure out: funeral costs, memorials, headstones. What do we do? And they were in this fog, and the town actually came together, pooled a bunch of money together to help pay for the funeral costs, and were there for them every step of the way. And so as they were searching for the meaning in this horrible tragedy, they came to this conclusion, her and her husband, and actually her best friend. And what they realized is, we could do this for other people too. And so that's how Raise for Rowyn got started. It was started in 2014, and the main mission of Raise for Rowyn is to provide funeral cost assistance and emotional support to families who have lost children. Again, this is not an organization that I think the founder wished that she started, but as we have progressed through the 4 years of existence, we realize that this has become an essential service for some of these families, especially
the emotional support component of this charity. So as I go through this, I just want to point out the kids on the side here. These are children whose families we've actually helped. These are kids who passed away when we service anything from one day, you were born for one day, you lived for one day, and you didn't make it, all the way up through your teenage years. Anybody 18 or younger who passes away, we help those families. So here's how it works. A funeral cost assistance is pretty cut and dry. Families come to the site, they fill out a grant application. Oftentimes it's a third party who comes to the site because the families just are not emotionally prepared to do something like that. They fill out the grant, we send it up to our grant committee, and then we actually approve based on our guidelines or reject based on guidelines. We have very loose guidelines. The really only guideline out there is that you must have had a live birth with a birth certificate. And even in those cases, if that wasn't the case, we actually refer you to another organization called the Tears Foundation, which does work for children who were not born and did not have a live birth certificate. So if you can see it, this is actually Rowyn by the numbers. So we are based out of Tadino, and yet here we have helped folks in New York, Florida, California, Texas. The reason why we've helped 30 different families in Arizona is because we actually have a relationship with a local hospital down there who refers the families to us. We have relationships with Seattle Children's Hospital. We have relationships with Ronald McDonald House, and we're working on a relationship with St. Jude. And all of that, because actually not a lot of people know this, those hospitals do not have a program like this to support the families. So they oftentimes need someone like us to be able to offer those services. Since 2014, we've helped families in 26 different states. We've given out more than $300,000 in grants. We've helped more than 300 families total. And even though we help outside of the state of Washington, many of our families are right here. We have close to 200 families who we've helped right here in Washington State. And we've had at least 50 to 75 here in the Thurston, Lewis, and Mason County area. So it is a very local, small powerhouse of an organization that has also had wide reach. The second component is the component that I think is the most identifiable for folks, and that is the emotional support. So after we help you, we assist you through your funeral cost assistance, you become a part of what we call our network of emotional support. And basically what this means is what we have experienced, and what I have experienced even in my short time, is that when a tragedy happens, or even if it was something that you saw coming from a long way away, say a terminal illness, those first couple months, there's a mountain of people who are there to help. They're your support network, they bring you food, they help you through the funeral process, they help you compose yourself, all those sort of different things. But after about 3 months, everybody moves on. Life keeps going. And sometimes even unfairly, the parents are expected to be okay after about 3 months, right? And so what we're here to do is enter back into your life and let you know it is okay to process your grief however you process it. We will not forget your child. The world may be moving, people may have to go back to work, but we will always remember your child. We will always honor your angel, and we will always showcase you, and we will always be there for you. We do this in a number of different ways. So one of the first things we do is after about 3 months of accepting your grant or approving your grant, we will send you a care package with a lovely little candle holder that is personalized for your angel, picture frames. We send letters on every single milestone date that your child had, birthday, anniversary of the passing, and at Christmas time. And then at Christmas time, we send a personalized ornament to each one of the families with a note of support. We have grief relief services, so we've been working with nonprofits in the area to actually get slots in different camps for various families. So Camp Good Times, which is the American Cancer Society, for siblings who have a brother or sister who've gone through cancer or passed away from cancer. We actually are working with them to get slots available just for Raise for Rowyn families. We also have worked with a few organizations that do horse riding therapy for families. and they've been able to craft specific weekends for our families. And then after that, we also try to focus on the siblings. So during Christmas time, we actually do a special buy a book program for siblings, where you can buy a book and we'll actually wrap it in Raise for Rowyn wrapping paper and send it to the siblings of those who passed away, because oftentimes they're dealing with their own set of issues and own set of emotions. And they feel actually guilty about it. So they have this survivor's guilt, and then on top of that, they get a little mad because there's this enshrinement to their brother or sister who they're perfect. Everybody remembers them as being perfect. And meanwhile, the living are full of mistakes. They make errors in judgment. They get angry. They're human beings. So sometimes they feel like, wow, my brother or sister never gets punished. I get punished all the time. But then they feel bad about that feeling. So they're going through a lot of complicated feelings, and we attempt to try and enter into their lives and give them some different things they can do in order to get through that. The other thing we do is new. We actually do a podcast with Brynn Johnson, the founder of Raise for Rowyn. She talks about her story. It is incredibly raw, incredibly emotional, but it's very, very good. We have special guests. We talk about things like grieving in public. We talk about things like grief and faith. We talk about things like how can you be happy with your grief? How can you move through the world and still experience moments of happiness while you're grieving? All these sort of different things we dive into on our podcast. So I invite you to take a look. We have some materials over there as well. So these are just a few of the things we do for emotional support. Here are just a few of the things that folks have said about Raise for Rowyn. So we try as hard as we can to get folks to kind of share their story and share their feelings on it. We have from everything from angel moms who talk about thank you for not forgetting, a funeral director. We often work with funeral homes, and they talk about it all the time, how these families come in and they are decimated. And to have an organization like Raise for Rowyn coming in and at least trying to provide something for them, it's noticed, it's tangible. And then of course we have a few other angel families that have talked about how lost they felt and how we were able to kind of be their lighthouse to get them back. So there are a couple of ways that folks can support us. The number one way is, the easiest way is to volunteer at our various events. We have a dinner and auction. I actually have some information on that over there. We also have a run that we do in June. So we're always looking for volunteers to help us in those. That's the easiest way to do it. We have event sponsorships. So if folks are interested in actually sponsoring one of our events and actually helping us put on our events where the money goes to our operational costs, I have actually some materials over there if you're interested in that. That gets you access to some of the fun events that we do. And one of the other things that we try and do is what we call program partnerships. Now these particular things don't get you into the events, but your money funds directly one of our programs, either funeral cost assistance or emotional support. So if you become a program partner, all of your money enters in to our programs and is used solely for our programming. So if you're interested in any of that, I have all of those materials over here. I will be over here to answer any of those type of questions. But we really appreciate any support we get from the community. This organization is built off of grit and guile and friends and family, and they are doing amazing work. We are doing pretty unbelievable things to see these families try and make it through their day, and to be a part of that effort is really important. And again, we have an endowment golf tournament, a run. You can visit our website. We have all of that information available online. And then that is our website, www.raiseforrowyn.org. So if you have any questions, anything you'd like to, can I open up?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Actually, do have one.
Sure.
So on the podcast, it provides information on how to deal with grief.
Mm-hmm.
Is it child specific, or is it, say, a parent or a spouse?
Yeah, we hit all topics. So when I talked about grieving in public, that was actually one that was not planned. What happened was the very sort of high-profile death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter occurred, and then all of a sudden that sparked this dialogue on our what we call our angel page. So we have this Facebook page that's solely set up for our angel families. so that they can go and talk to each other and work out their issues and ask people, how did you deal with this, how did you deal with that. We had, after that accident, we had this crazy sort of opening of the floodgates of all these people that were talking about. That triggered me. I didn't even think about how that would make me feel. It was so high profile. And so we actually talked about grieving in public, like how we would do that, because obviously Kobe Bryant's wife and the mother of his children is going to be doing that for the rest of her life. We get into issues. We just released a podcast yesterday called Sibling Support, which talks about how you can help your brothers and sisters of those who passed get through it themselves, different triggers you might see them have when they go through things. We will be talking about grief and fatherhood, because I think a lot of times, and we actually had the final quote there was from an angel father who said one of the things that bothered him to no end was he was going through his own grief, and people would come up to him and be like, how's the mother? And he'd be like, well, I'm going through it too. So we do a lot of those different things where we hit on a ton of different subjects. Grief and motherhood, grief and faith, grief and joy, all of those different things. And if anybody's ever interested in actually coming on the podcast and giving their own story, we actually do that as well. We have a lot of our angel families who come on and talk about how they went through it and what they experienced. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I want to emphasize what you, or underscore what you said. When the entire community came together that day, the entire community came together and wrapped their arms around the Johnson family, Brynn and such. And when you see the number of folks that show up at the events, the fundraiser like the one coming up, it's not overwhelming, but it's exceedingly powerful.
Yes.
And not only did the community tonight financially donate, but they spiritually and emotionally supported the family. That was the achievements that I've had. My officers were deeply involved in putting stuff together for the family. It was an emotional, very cool event when it comes to human spirit.
Yeah, the event itself is it's a beautiful sort of dedication, because it's right around Rowyn's birthday, and it's used sort of as a birthday and a celebration of life and a celebration of Rowyn. And the thing about the charity's connection to Tenino is that it's almost like it's Tenino's charity. It's not just Raise for Rowyn. I'm the executive director, Brynn is the founder. It's Tenino's charity. There's this energy behind it, and they root for it all the time. It's really fantastic, and it's one of those things that really inspire you, because you can see what people can do for each other when the chips are down and things are hard. It's really lovely to see people step up when it's necessary, and I think we need more of that in today's society. Honestly, people being there for each other. Yeah.
Just have one more question. No?
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I'll be over here just in case.
So as our club knows, one of the aspects that we'd like to do is part of our literacy program. As part of our reading program.
At least it's not our talking program.
We like to we donate a book to Pleasant Glade Elementary School signed by our speaker. So today's, I think it's fitting, and one of the things you were saying is year after year the recognition of the remembrance that your organization offers. So this is spring after spring, and I think that's a good memory for us all to think about as the seasons go by. So again, let's hear it for our guest speaker, Phillip. Okay, we're going to move right into announcements right now, and I've got two that I think of. I know Lori's going to be making an announcement. Megan, are you announcing today? You're not. Is Doug doing it? You're not announcing bowling?
We're done.
We're done, so we're not going to announce it. All right, so we're going to start off with Lori. Lori, let's hear it for our literacy. I still get it, our reading chair. Lori Carroll.
Good morning, everyone. So I have two announcements actually. The first is you all got a couple emails from me yesterday. We're doing Read Across America, Read Aloud Day. And sign-ups are on the website. I have 2 spots left if you would like them. It's a really fun activity. You go into the class, introduce yourself, and read a couple books. I mean, you'll go into 3 classes, and the kids are pretty entertaining in the things they ask. But if you'd like to do that, you contact me or go on Club Runner and sign up. It's on the right-hand side.
How many people?
And the second thing is our I can't talk now, Len. Dr. Seuss birthday party that's coming up March 5th. Thank you. Oh, by the way, this is March 3rd. Anyway, these are some visual aids to show you what kind of birthday present to bring. Janine bought these. She said she got all these books for $15 at Target. It's going to be at the Cider Barrel. It's 2 for 1.
It's buy 3, get 1.
They're cheap.
Free, yeah.
They're cheap.
Cut to the chase.
Yeah, cut to the chase. Anyway, it's a birthday party. There's going to be cake, and Lauren is working on a trivia quiz, which will be fun. And I hope you all can come. It'll be a lot of fun. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Lori. Next, let's hear from our Vice President and BBB Chair for 2020. Let's hear from our main event.
BBB next Thursday, 5:30, Chicago title. That's Thursday the 27th. Palm Pilot.
All right.
All right. I got any other announcements from our committee chairs? Great. I've got 3 quick ones. Hopefully. Paul Harris dinner sign up. That's going to be held on March 19th at Hotel RL. Sign-ups are available still at paulharrisdinner.com. Please sign up. District Conference, May 14th through 16th in Victoria, BC. Again, not Mother's Day weekend. Sign-ups opened this past weekend at www.rotary5020.org. Rotary5020.org. That's our district conference, district number, 5020. So please go there. Remember something, your registration as a Gateway Rotarian will be reimbursed to you. The way we're going to do that is we're going to try to get a big group picture of all of us up at the district conference. We'll send that over to Mike Jones. You're in the picture. You get your reimbursement for $281, and that's US.
So we're going to be forced to socialize with other Gateway Rotarians?
More importantly, you have to socialize with me. But yes, it's a great event, first of all. I really enjoy it. It's great to get together with everybody. I think, Troy, you're doing a presentation up there? Yeah. So you get a presentation from Troy. There's a lot of great education on what Rotary is, but more importantly is you get to learn about some of the great events that are going on. There's a list of speakers. As soon as I get some of the speaker details, I'll present that as well to you folks. But go to the website. I know in the past we've had some great different presentations. There's a gentleman in the Army, Lieutenant Smiley, who went blind, ended up getting his master's degree later, and he really told a great story of what he's doing. That's just an example of some great motivational speakers that Rotary brings in. And again, it's all about building the camaraderie while you're there. So it's a fun time. Again, that's May 14th through 16th. You will be reimbursed for your tuition. And I am going to, and my schedule, just, is Thursday. I'm taking the ferry across from Port Angeles. And staying up there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, coming back Sunday morning. Okay, next announcement. President-elect Janine Ezell will be heading off the President-elect Training Seminar this weekend. So I'd like to hear a shout out for our President-elect to remind her out of the great Rotarian Gateway Rotary. All right, and last but not least, again, get on your calendars, June 24th. 6 p.m. in Indian Summer will be our installation dinner. And we now have a committee that's going to be chaired by Lori Carroll. It's going to include Amanda Vay, Sylvia Davenport, Janine, and myself. So we're putting that together. It's a really fun time, probably a little bit of a roast. It's a good time. So I hope you put that on your calendar, and sign-ups and more information are going to be coming. That said, I'm going to wave goodbye to our friends at home. It was good to see you. Bye, Felix. I'm sure you were online. And let's move ahead right away with our classification talk. Mark, let's hear from Mark Daly.